Hi, I'm Nikki Thériault, regardless of name with artist Steve Rhude before his exhibition on Friday, June 10th called Suspension. Now, Steve, tell me about your subject matter. Why is it that you have boats and buoys and lighthouses in your paintings?
Well, for 20 years I've been studying coastal life. That's when I moved to Nova Scotia, actually, 20 years ago. And I started looking around at the social context of the area, politics of the area, and these things started to slowly percolate and get into my subconscious, so to speak. But more and more, it became apparent that the boat, the shed, the buoy, became have a sort of history of symbolism in maritime art, and I didn't see any reason why I should change that or alter that, so I incorporated it into my own way of painting. But what I wanted to do is look at the way the urban agenda influences coastal communities. So that's why you will see, for instance, a building or a modern building, a museum sometimes, which actually houses the culture that we take so much pride in. In this case, the boat is outside the Beaver Brook. This is if you go around to the other side of the Beaver Brook, you'll see this section of the building. So that's sort of how my subject matter developed, but it's very place-orientated. And I look at place in two ways. First thing is place is a space that you define and with geographical boundaries. And Fredericton is a city with boundaries. This gallery is a boundary, has a building with boundaries. Then there's that other place, and that place is a space that has no defined boundaries. And we call it the imagination or the consciousness, the wellspring of creativity, whatever you want to call it. And that's the place that you can only get to, at least in my own experience, unless you've gone through that first place with defined boundaries. So you have to get into your community and experience the culture, the people. I interview people, I write notes, and before I know it, all of that leads me to the sort of image that you're looking at here. So there's two places I want to pull it.
Wow. And now, tell me a little bit about how you painted this, because we've had a few people at the gallery coming in and saying, "Oh, this looks like paintings with the points."
Pointillism?
Yeah, but says it's not so, not exactly. So how exactly do you paint these?
I like pointillism. I studied in Europe, in Florence actually for a year, back when I was about 25 years old, so it was quite a while ago. But pointillism is very scientific, and I find painting, especially if you work in a realist vein, it can go on in a very mundane way. It can be actually fairly boring. And what I like to do is, at some point in a painting, enter into a zone that I don't know and I'm not familiar with. And so what I do is, once I get the general shapes and the composition going, I take the painting off the easel, I put it on the floor. And if you can imagine, just like Jackson Pollock, he would spatter and drip paint as he moved around the canvas 360 degrees. So I do that as well. And what it does is it frees up the composition and it puts colors and combinations of colors in areas that you would never contemplate in a normal way if it was on the easel. So I let it dry, put it back on the easel, and then I calm down and I say, okay, there's color combinations I like to retain, so I leave them and I work around them. There's other areas that might be very messy or uncooperative, so I just paint over it. That's the way, because I work in oil, so it's flexible, you can't do that. And what that does is that it allows me to go into uncharted territory, and it makes painting exciting, rather than just going through a systematic process. So that's why you see reds in the sky, or blues in concrete, or pinks in the sky, this sort of thing. And it gives it a sort of a speckled, pattern-like feel to it. But what you don't get is that mechanical, scientific approach that you see in the history of pointillism. So it suits my personality as well. That's basically what I do.
Ah, thank you. It's very interesting.
You're welcome.
Thank you for watching.